Hello my dear students, welcome back once again to our English class 9 from our Beehive textbook, The Road Not Taken, Part 3. This Road Not Taken, this poem was written by Robert Frost, and we have seen that he was giving a greater point in this poem about our decisions in life or the choices about our life. That's what this poem just highlighted of. In the last two videos, we have seen the first three stanzas of The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Before going on to the last stanza of Road Not Taken, let's have a review of stanza 1. Here we see, when we say stanza 1, we can see that the speaker is standing in a forest in front of a fork road or a road which is separated to two different directions. And we have seen that the speaker is unable to take a decision because he was all alone. And we see that he was standing there for a while. And the season is autumn season with yellow woods. And also we have seen that this autumn season signifies old age, isn't it? And also, as long as he was standing there, he was keeping a closer eye to a far distance in between these two rods to see the future. But he fails because at the end, or as his vision just goes on, he could see only the dense plants and trees. That's what it was said in stanza 1. Then talking about stanza 2, we have seen that after waiting there for a long time, he preferred the road that is less traveled. And we have seen that he has taken this decision after thinking there a lot. But we see that as he has taken the decision, as he started moving, he finds that the roads seems similar. That is, both roads were used by people. Okay. And anyhow, once he decided as which road to be taken, he dared to go alone without looking back, isn't it? And the beginning of this day, as he was standing there, he could see that both roads were filled with leaves untouched. That shows that the poet was the first person to come there, isn't it? That's what we see in the beginning of stanza 3. That talks about the speaker as the first traveler of the day, and we see that he thought of taking the second road, isn't it? Not the first one. And we see that why he thought of taking the second road is because he thought that that road was less traveled by people. So he wanted to have a unique experience in taking the second road. Okay. So as he went on, he could understand one thing, that he was very sure about that one road leads to another. That is, in the line how way leads on to way, isn't it? So, and also we have seen that in the last stanza, we have seen that he thought of taking or considering the first rod for the second time. At first, he thought of taking the second rod, but later on, he reserved the first rod for another time. But we see that as he was just going on, he understood one thing, that is impossible to come back. And he was not sure about coming back once again to take the next road, isn't it? So as we walk on the path, we come across more options and make choices further. So we keep on walking ahead on that particular way without thinking about coming back. Okay, that's what this stanza 3 just talks about, and also just highlights the importance of less chance of going back to take a walk in the first road. Now coming to stanza 4, the last stanza of Road Not Taken. So here it goes. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So now what here this stanza just talks about is, already we have seen that in stanza 3, in stanza 2, in stanza 1, the poet's wish. In stanza 1, we have seen that the poet was standing there in utter confused manner as which road to be taken. And the second stanza we see that he thought of taking the second rod. Why he thought of taking the second rod was also highlighted there, isn't it? And also we see that in the third stanza he was giving a justification for taking the second rod. And what he says there is, okay, let me reserve the first rod for another time. There is enough time. But as he went on, he could not able to think about coming back. And he made a stern decision that whatever the consequence will, let me carry on my way here. And now, as he just goes on, coming to the fourth stanza, he says that definitely I will be remembering about these things that happened in my life after a long time. That's what he was just telling here, poet's imagination of future. And he says that definitely I shall be telling this with a sigh. What is sigh? Sigh means deep breath. Okay, taking a deep breath, telling that, isn't it? Says that, once I happened to be in the middle of a forest where two forked rod I met, or two rod which were separated, and I was in utter confusion as which rod to be taken. Isn't it? So that's why it says that I will be telling this in future with a deep breath. And says that to somewhere ages and ages hence. And he thinks that definitely I'll be recollecting all these incidents in my life after a longer time. Because as I told you in the first stanza that this autumn season just signifies the old age or older people. So that time it's very difficult for the old people to think whether what they have taken in their life is good or bad. But whatever they have taken should be accepted. Isn't it? So in future, when he also becomes old, comparing the age with the autumn season, definitely he will look back and he will think about the things that happened in his life. So in the beginning of the stanza, we have seen that as the speaker was standing there, he may be epitomizing this autumn season with a lot of old age people who might have lived before him and who might have experienced this confusion in their life. And the testimonies are before him. Okay? So anyhow, without considering the opinion of others, he thought of taking a rod which is less traveled by others. Now the poet says that now it's imagination of the future. The speaker says that when he is older, definitely like others, he might be also looking back at the turning point of his life. Because this is the turning point as which road to be taken. As which journey of life to be taken. And definitely he will be remembering whether it is be good or whether it is be bad. But whatever, he is of great determination, he will move on. He will never look back because he has already taken a decision. Isn't it? So that's why here the poet says that somewhere ages and ages hence, definitely I think that I shall be telling about this decision that I have taken in my future. In my future means when I am in old age. Is it clear? And what he'll be thinking, that he may be thinking that two rods diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And he'll be remembering that, yes, I have taken or I have chosen the rod which was less traveled by others. Isn't it? And finally, he is just repeating, and that has made all the difference. So here he says that he might have faced a lot of problems in choosing the right way. As his willpower, has his optimism in life just helped him to move on, definitely the decision that he has taken, what is the decision? To walk in the way that is less traveled by others. And also we have seen that his intuition for coming back is also in vague. Why? Because he already said that one rod leads to another. So in future, or as you just make your journey of life, once you have taken decision, definitely that decision will be changing from course of time. In course of time, you will be taking different decisions or choices in your life. So it's very hard for you to come back to the beginning of your journey. You should adapt yourself with the decision or the focus of your destination. Even though you take different decisions or determination or choices in your life, you need to move on. You need to carry on your journey of life. And another implication that we see here is why the poet has not taken the path which was taken by others or mostly traveled by others. Here it says that we all have personality and individualism of our own. And it's our responsibility to focus and to perceive a future of our own. We need to understand the difference between what is good and what is bad. Isn't it? When you look back, the first part, the poet said, when you look back, you should not leave a path to get regretted later in life. So you should be very wise enough. You should be vigilant enough. You should have that wisdom to look forward to see the bright future. Or in what way you are just moving on. The path that you are just trotting should be with a wise decision. In between, you may be forced to take different choices, forced to take different decisions in life. But understand one thing, that once you take a decision, it's very hard to drop in between. So that's what it says, that by choosing the less traveled path over the well traveled path. What is that? Less traveled path is the second road, and well traveled path is the first road. The speaker says that he or she, whoever may be that, values what? Individualism, without copying or without following the path which was already taken by others. That is what the speaker just highlights in the poem, The Road Not Taken. Isn't it? It's our personal choice. The only thing that we need to remember is that never ever give away to regret later in life. And also, don't try to blame the decision that you have taken. Foremost, you need to have the optimism to see life in its goodness. And also, don't ever go for the opinion from others. You have a personality of your own. You have to choose your life. The journey of your life is your responsibility, or it's your liberty. Isn't it? So, it's your decision that will create a greater differences in life. You should be capable of just announcing that, yeah, I am proud of my life. The decision that I have taken is not in vain, or it doesn't went vain. That should be your opinion once you look back. Once you look back in your old age or in the autumn season, as you stand in front of the autumn season as an old age person, when you look back, please leave no way to regret. You should be very happy about the decisions that you have taken, the values that you have given importance to, or the individualism that you have proved to be a person. Everything should be a matter in your life. That is what the poet just talks about in the poem, The Road Not Taken. I think it's very clear just talking about it. Let me remind you once again. First stanza just talks about a person who is standing in front of a road, who is disturbed in taking a stern decision. In second stanza, it highlights that the poet or the speaker, whoever may be, he or she, whoever may be, is stubborn enough to say that yes, I am going to take the second path, which was less traveled by others. Now coming to the third stanza, the speaker gives a justification of why he thought of taking that one, because that is less traveled, and the morning freshness just thought that this road is less traveled. But as he went on, he could understand that in this way also people traveled, isn't it? And then we see that whatever decision he had taken, he is not ready to look back. That shows the stubborn attitude, the great determination, that the opportunity that he was just holding on as he has taken this decision. And the last stanza, he was just telling that, yes, just like the autumn season, when the speaker is in his old age, definitely he will look back to say about the decision that he has taken in his life. And he will proudly say that whether it is a proud moment or a disgusting moment, but still then the poet says that I will say that that decision has created a greater difference in my life. Is it clear? Now, I think let's have a quick look on the poetic devices. Already we have seen some poetic devices, and the rhyming scheme as usual in these four stanzas, it goes like A, B, A, B, A, A, B. Why A, B, A, B? See, here I have written sigh, I, by, A, hence difference, S, hence difference. So it B, A, B, A, B. So that is the rhyming scheme of this rod not taken. Now talking about another one is metaphor. What is metaphor? Already we have seen metaphor. Metaphor is, what is it? Attributing one quality or attributing the full quality of one to another. Here, the nature, the poet is just giving out the nature in yellow woods, telling that the nature is fully seen in yellow woods, or the season of the nature implied in the poem is autumn season. So autumn season is a metaphor of what? A metaphor of making decisions during the fall of your life, or when you are just disturbed, or when you are just standing in a confused manner as which decision to have taken in your life. Or it can be also compared to getting what? Older, isn't it? Because this after autumn season, by the autumn season all the leaves will fall, isn't it? So that is the end of one's life. Before the end of one's life, you need to look back. So that metaphor is being used by using the yellow wood, or just simplify, or just talking about which season? Autumn season. Now getting on to the next one is repetition. What is repetition? The word ages and ages is repeated in the last stanza. See? Some word ages and ages. The word ages and ages is repeated. So, the poetic device is repetition. The next one is symbolism. What is symbolism? Already we have seen in the initial or the introductory part of this rod not taken. The rod symbolize what? The journey of your life. The decision that you are going to take in your life, isn't it? So the rod symbolizes one's journey of life. Now coming on to assonance. Assonance is a repetition of vowel sounds. What is that? In ages and ages, is repeated in one line. Ages and ages. Is it clear? So it's also just like the repetition also there in other stanzas, isn't it? Okay, now for more videos, watch, like and subscribe my channel English Orchard. Thank you all. Have a great day.